Refract the light. What do you see? Refract the light. What do you see? If you have a golf ball-sized consciousness, when you read a book, you will have a golf ball-size understanding. When you look out, a golf ball-size awareness. But if you could expand that consciousness, everything is nothing with a twist. Sound is light, and light is sound. Refract the light. What do you see?
May their efforts be crowned with success. And speed the day when modern science shall be spiritualized and conduct its investigations of matter from the standpoint of spirit, for then, and not until then, will it arrive at a true knowledge of the world.
We've been obsessed by the number 7 for as long as we know. We go back to the earliest writing that there is on Babylonian clay tablets, and they're just full of 7s. And you have 7 dwarfs, 7 sins, 7 seas, 7 sisters. The list just goes on and on. So why is 7 so special?
Spiritual science is the study of harmony. And harmony we can find through the 3 pillars: music, geometry, and numbers.
Pythagoreans used the 7-tone harmonic scale to teach the working of the cosmos.
Musica universalis. Musica universalis.
I like to make music. Made music all my life. Then I started making film. I saw a pattern. Connecting sound with light. Refract the white or clear light. What do you see? You will see 7 colors. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, violet / indigo. Is this the main structure or pattern of our universe? I asked myself, could everything connect to everything else? From the major scale in our music, to the days of the week to the colors of the rainbow. Are we in a fractal hologram, where everything is connected? 7 billion souls on 7 seas and 7 continents.
Though the esoteric philosophy would say that all of creation is actually the one life, and that this one life is manifesting as the many, and that there are many divisions of that many as it manifests into an infinite variety and diversity, there are said to be 7 fundamental qualities that arise from that. A simple analogy would be to look at the idea of God as white light. Now, when we take white light and we project it through a prism, we see that it fragments itself into 7 colors of the visible spectrum. By using the law of analogy, we can see the same thing playing out. The one life, the light of God, the light of the one life, manifests in and as cosmos, and in the process, it becomes prismatic, and it divides itself into 7 colors, 7 qualities, 7 states of consciousness, and that is what we call the rays. Those 7 qualities are equal in their importance to the one life, and that as they manifest, they then intersect and interface and create different mixtures of density of one over another, and ultimately it leads to the great diversity and manifestation that we have today. These 7 qualities of consciousness are the foundation of everything in manifestation, and that they are uniquely expressive of qualities of life, qualities of consciousness, and in a way, they are viewed as beings in their own right.
I'm going to take a closer look at the electromagnetic spectrum.
To understand the nature of the universe, we have to think in terms of frequency and vibration and energy. Frequency and vibration. Now, we could substitute the words frequency and vibration with the words waves, but then we'd have to ask the question, frequency and vibrations of what?
What we see as light is only a small part of the electromagnetic spectrum. The electromagnetic spectrum refers to the many types of radiation released from stars, including our own sun. Electromagnetic radiation travels in waves. Frequency describes how many waves per second a wavelength produces. Wavelength measures the length of an individual wave in meters.
This is a mechanical model of what you've just seen. Instead of a row of coils, we've got a row of rods. We're going to feed them with alternating current so that each one can rise and fall. And when we turn the whole thing, we get the impression of something traveling along. But I want you to notice that nothing actually travels along, because each rod only moves up and down. The thing that makes it real is when we put something into one of the troughs of the wave. Then something real travels along. You can make it go the other way. If you watch an individual rod, such as this one, you'll see that it's only going up and down. There is no horizontal movement at all. Only the ball is a real thing moving side to side.
Scientists describe the electromagnetic spectrum as a long line. At one end lie radio waves, with the longest wavelengths and lowest frequencies in the spectrum. A single radio wave has the length of a football field. After radio waves come microwaves, which produce more energy due to shorter wavelengths and higher frequencies. Cell phones, radar, and microwave ovens use microwaves. Next comes infrared light. The sun, fire, living creatures, and other heat sources all produce infrared light. While we cannot see infrared light, we feel it as heat. Visible light occupies a narrow slice of the electromagnetic spectrum, nestled between infrared and ultraviolet light. Red wavelengths have the lowest frequencies and longest wavelengths of visible light. As you move from red through orange, yellow, green, blue, and finally violet, wavelengths shorten and frequencies increase. From visible violet light, we move into ultraviolet frequencies. Human skin produces vitamin D when exposed to ultraviolet light, but excessive ultraviolet light causes sunburns. Next, X-rays, which pass through soft tissue but not denser materials such as bone, making them valuable for medical tests. X-rays also have security applications such as airport baggage checks. Gamma rays produce even shorter wavelengths, higher frequencies, and more energy. In comparison to the football field-sized wavelengths of radio waves, gamma ray wavelengths are as small as atom nuclei.
Light is not a wave particle. Light is neither a wave nor is it a particle. It is a coaxial circuit field perturbation that works off simplex rules of pressure mediation. It is a longitudinal propagating field perturbation.
Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so.
To further highlight that, one more feature needs to be understood. As the one becomes the seven, it first becomes three before becoming the seven. The one becomes the three, becomes the seven. And then the infinite number of diversities that arise from that. Think of white light, as I said, going through a prism, but a prism is always going to manifest as a triangle, and that you're projecting light through a triangle of prismatic glass, and that causes the division of the light into 7 colors of the visible spectrum. So in that simple analogy that I've given you, you have the one, the white light, and the resultant 7 rays that come through as the light passes through that prism. So the analogy is very useful in just getting a sense of the underpinning of how important the three, but even more so now, as it'll give us an understanding of where does the 7 come from, where does it emerge out of. And each of these 7 rays is in a way a deity in its own right, a massive life force. And each has a piece to play in the evolution of all things.
Every activity is a form of energy, and energy cannot be dissipated. It is retained. We are in a closed system.
But Professor, why were they looking for 7 Earths?
Because in the old literature, even before the Quran, the number 7 Earths was mentioned.
The ancient Hebrews were not the first to follow a 7-day week, nor are they the creators of it. It was actually the ancient Babylonians who invented the week as we know it now.
States of consciousness, whether ascending or descending, are septenary.
The one eternal law unfolds everything in the to-be manifested nature on a 7-fold principle.
Among the rest, countless central chains of worlds composed of 7 planes, graduated on the 4 lower planes of the world of formation, the 3 others belonging to the archetypical universe.
Out of these 7, only one, the lowest and the most material of those planes, is within our plane or means of perception.
The 6 others lying outside of it, being invisible to the terrestrial eye. Every such chain of worlds is the progeny and creation of another, lower, and that chain. It is reincarnation, so to say.
7 times 7 is 49, is also the incarnation cycle according to the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
3 times 7 is 21. 21 grams is said to be the weight of our soul.
Do you not know how Allah has created the seven heavens, one above the other?
The ascent and descent through these realms by the beings that inhabit them is represented in the Bible by Jacob's ladder. This is the fourth dimension, the world of vital energy. The androgynous ancestors of humanity existed in a more subtle level of nature.
God is He who created the 7 heavens, and of the earth a similar number.
We were discussing in the previous episode the notion of 7 firmaments and 7 earths. Only lately I came to realize the fact that the 7 earths are within our earth. And this was substantiated by the study of the internal structure of the earth. As I said earlier, earthquakes, natural or artificial, can delineate the boundaries between 7 different zones within the earth.
Different types of rocks?
Different types of rocks.
Okay.
Because these also decrease in density as you go from inside outward.
We see the sevenfoldness in the macro and the micro. This is also one of 7 hermetic laws. Different scales, different octaves. Earth has 7 layers, and so does our skin, so does our skin, so does our skin, so does our skin. There's a body in the frontal
As you may have seen in other systems, the body houses a system of energy portals. There are 7 key ones, there are another 7 subtle ones, another 7 even more subtle ones, but these are the main ones.
Munchie, can you leap up now, please?
Pick up now. Then you can see it facing 2, the face again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
What is reality? Is it singular in nature? Or do several parallel realities exist at the same time?
We have to believe in that, although we cannot see them. We only see part of the first firmament.
We can see the 7 levels of the first firmament, the 7 levels of our atmosphere. Our electromagnetic spectrum also has 7 bands.
7 is the single highest number in our 7-dimensional construct.
The more subtle information, therefore, is transformed into chemicals by the glands as they are influenced by the scalar waves produced by the chakras. Each of the chakras is related to certain physical processes, organs, and psycho-emotional processes.
Say everything you do, everything you say, every action you take, every penny you earn or spend is recorded. On the plural number of the firmaments, that this is an affirmation from the Creator himself. who has created this universe, and he is saying, I have created 7 firmaments.
To be continued.
Happy Friday. Glad to be here with you guys. As you can see, I made my mouse pretty big so you guys can see it. Let's see how it works.
Looks good. You can see it real good.
Oh, let me see it. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Yeah,
Showed up today with a bigger mouse. Well, it looks like it somewhat.
Yeah, you can see it.
Look at that portal. Okay, let me click the screen. There we go. Got it back. And we are live on Rumble, YouTube. Still got to get Facebook up and operating. I figured I'd open with that to get the show started. So I started a little early. Glad to have everybody here with us. Hello, everybody. We want to thank you for the prayers for Mike and his family. We need prayers for ourselves and each other. I know there's a lot more people that need prayers. There's a lot going on all at once, it seems like. But I think focusing on the things that matter, which is spirit and matter.
Definitely.
It's all one.
Definitely.
Focus on the things that matter. Today is Friday, 7/25, 2025. We had Ozzy Osbourne pass away on, was that 7/22?
And Hulk Hogan.
Hogan here recently. What was it, today or?
Yesterday, I believe, right?
So Wizard of Oz. So 7 and 4 is 11 plus 9 is 119. Let's see, here we got.
From the book, The Secret of Light.
Oh, I am not even showing my screen. I was just opening it.
I thought you were showing it, sorry.
And this goes with the video we just opened with. This is by Walter Russell. And then we'll get into it. So the book is called Secret of Light by Walter Russell. This is the PDF. Jesus said, God is light, and no man of that day knew what he meant. The day is now, here, when all men must know what Jesus meant when he said, God is light. I don't know if we can see that.
And that's kind of what that video was showing, right? The white light.
Right. So from within, the secret of light is vast knowledge, yet revealed to man. Light is all there is. It is all we have to deal with, but we do not yet know what it is, or the purpose of this message is to tell what it is. So I've showed some of his work, but I want to go to turn the page. It's all is one. Let's talk about
all powers from the one.
The universe of knowing. So the internal questions that we have: who am I? Right. Here, I'm trying to. Let me get that page. Hold on. Where is it? Hold on, guys.
Made it too big.
Yeah.
Oh.
Give me full screen. And let me go back. So the internal question, who am I, right? What am I, and why am I? Whither am I bound? And what is my relation to the universe, to man, and to God? What is truth? How am I to know truth? And whence cometh my power? And what is the source of my power? How am I to find balance in my dealings with my fellow man? How am I to know that balance in our interchange, which will enrich both him and me? Countless are the religious teachings, and many are the commandments to goodness, but goodness is still veiled from my eyes like a thick mist which hides thy light, which I vainly seek. I stumble in its darkness, unbalanced I fall. O thou unseen one, tear my eyes the blinding veil which hides the path to thy light, that I may find my way to thee. That is the cry of the ages. All right, so we go to this is the unanswered question which is arising from the heart of this awakening generation. Civilization progresses in cycles. New comprehensive periodically transforms mankind into higher beings. A new cycle of 3,000 years duration is now in its birth throes. God's omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence are centered in the consciousness of every man, but few there are who know of the oneness of their self-soul within the universal self-soul. Man requires many millennia to begin to be aware of that. Each cycle of man brings him nearer to his awareness of his oneness with the light of his self-source. Man lives in a bewildering, complex world of effect, of which he knows not the cause. Because of its seemingly infinite multiplicity and complexity, he fails to vision the simple underlying principle of balance in all things. He therefore complexes truth until in many angles, sides and facets have lost balance with each other and with him. Truth is simple. Balance is simple. Rhythmic balanced interchange between all pairs of opposite expressions and natural phenomenon and in human relations is the consummate art of God's universe of light. It is also the law. In this one fundamental universal law lies the balance, continuity of all creative expression in God's electric wave universe of two conditioned lights in seeming motion, which records God's one whole idea of creation into one countless, seemingly separate parts of that whole idea. So we have the voice within. The great unanswered question of man has a simple answer. The silent voice within every man is ceaselessly whispering it to his awakening consciousness. Every desire written upon the heart of man is carried to the source, and its answers will come. But few there are who ask comprehensively, and fewer still who can hear. Many are the ages of preparation for worthiness to hear it, for man's consciousness is insulated from his source by the sensations of his electrically conditioned body, which he wrongly thinks of as being his mind, and his personal self, which he calls his objective human mind, but the seat of electric sensations of his body, what he makes for thinking, but an electric awareness of things, sensed and recorded within the cells of his brain for repetitive usage through what is termed memories. Memories have no relation to knowledge of universal mind, which is in man. Then Vicloria records are related to the source of their recordings. What he thinks of as living body is but an electrically motivated machine which simulates life through motion extended to and from its centering self-soul, which alone lives and wills the body to move. What he calls his subjective mind is his consciousness, his spiritual storehouse of all knowledge, all power, and all presence. The consciousness is his self, his eternal self, through which his omniscience and omnipresence and omnipotent are expressed as he slowly becomes aware of their presence within him. So the electrically oscillating nerve wires which generate his bodily mechanisms act almost entirely through automatic reflexes and instinctive control, and to a very little extent through mental decisions. Each cell and organ of his body has an electrical awareness of its purpose, and each fulfills that purpose without any mental action whatsoever upon the part of the intelligence which occupies that body. The heartbeat, for example, is purely automatic. The white was that corpus? Like we're talking about in your blood. So the white corpuscles of the blood rush to repair an injury to the body as automatically as a bell rings when a button is pushed. Think about that, right?
Yeah.
Your body automatically just starts healing itself.
Yeah, it knows.
Did you tell it to heal itself?
Nope, it knows. It's aware.
So that's the intelligence that we're talking about here that people aren't aware of.
Right.
They just disregard it as this. Oh, that's just the way things are, I guess, and they don't really see the miracle that's really taking place before their eyes.
That's right.
So in this body and its electric recording brain, man thinks that he thinks and lives, loves and dies. He thinks himself conscious while awake and unconscious when sleeping, unaware that in all nature there is no such condition as unconsciousness when sensation ceases in sleep. Man, so even when you're asleep, so man does not say that his tooth is unconscious when it is put to sleep by short-circuiting the electric current in the nerve wire, which gives sense electrical awareness to his tooth. He knows that his tooth cannot be conscious, but he does not know that his body cannot be conscious. Nor does he yet know that the consciousness never sleeps, never changes, for consciousness in man is his immortality. It is the light which he is unknowingly seeking, but assumes that the sensation of his brain is his thinking. Man is still new. He is barely out of the dark of his jungle. But for the million or more years of his unfolding, he has relied upon sensation for his actions and the evidence of his senses for his knowing. He has been aware of the spirit in him only a very few thousand of years. In this beginning of this new awareness, he is confused, knowing at which mind in which is mind in him, which is consciousness in him, and which is sensation. So he has not yet learned that the bodies are self-created mechanisms which manifest their centering self, and that self manifests God as one with it. Likewise, he has not yet learned that bodies neither live nor die, but repeat themselves continuously and forever. As all idea of mind likewise repeats itself. The will, for example, is a mechanism consisting of a hub, spokes, and a rim. A little part of the wheel touches the ground, feels it, then leaves it to disappear from reach of the sensations which connect rim, spokes, and ground, but then disappears. Right. So when that happens to man, we say he was born, lived, and died. When it happens to the apple, the flame, or the tree, we say the apple was eaten, the flame has gone out, and the tree has decayed. We say that because only a small part of the cycle of any idea comes within the range of our senses. The larger part of the cycle is beyond our range of perception, just as the larger part of the wheel is beyond the sense perception of the ground. We do not yet know that the invincible part of the cycles of all ideas, the continuous as the wheel, is continuous. The cycle of the apple is light reaching from the sun and earth to that positive half of the apple cycle which we hold in our hand. The negative half of the cycle is light returning to the sun and the earth for repetition as another manifestation of the eternal idea of the apple. The same is true of the flame, the tree of any part of the one whole idea of creation. The flame goes out to our sensing, but it still is. Likewise, the tree, the forest, the mountains, the planet, the nebula of the far heavens appear, disappear, and as surely reappear. Likewise, man appears to disappear and reappear again and again in countless cycles to express eternal life of the spirit and eternal repetitions of that part of the man cycle which the body of man can sense. Man never dies.
That's right.
I repeat, man never dies. He is a continuous as eternity is continuous. That's why you have the 8, it's the infinity. Jesus rightly said that man shall not see death, for there is no death to see or to know. You don't experience it.
Nope.
You pass on. You wake up. The light never dies. No, it's always there. The body, that's what the girl, when she got up from the mat, there was still light there in her image.
Her aura.
Yeah.
There was 7 of them. Yeah, all different colors. 7 spectrums of them.
So Jesus rightly said that man shall not see death, for there is no death to see or to know. Likewise, the body of man does not live, and having never lived, it cannot die. The spirit alone lives. The body but manifests the spirit. It's just the avatar with the light within. That which we think of as life in the spirit of man manifests itself by willing the body to act. Actions thus made by the body under the command of its centering soul have no motive, power, or intelligence in themselves. They are but machines motivated by an omniscient and omnipotent intelligence extended to them. These things we do not yet know, for man is in his infancy. He is but beginning to know the light. And that's how people can tell when they're sick or when they're not sick, by their aura.
Yes.
How dim they are, how bright they are, if they've been doing the work. and you could tell some people emit a more stronger light than others, but everybody has a light, unless you're just a robot.
Right. You've been augmented.
Right. And that's what the movie They Live was about. They had those glasses, they could see what was real and what wasn't in other humans, and they seen the robots or the people portray people that look like us, but they ain't us.
Right.
Yeah. So I just wanted to read that. I'll read some more of it, bring some more of it later when we're talking about the ascent of man. But tonight we're going to go talk a little bit about, what are we going to talk about? We're going to play a little Sabrina Wallace. We're going to do a little this, little that.
When that happens to man, we say, he...
Hey, I can just have him read the whole book.
I don't like when they have the AI reading it.
That's the AI voice.
Yeah.
All right, let me get off that. So death is an illusion.
Yeah. When you die, you just kind of look up into another dimension, right?
Right. We got an update on Scruffy 2. Is that Thunder?
Sound like it. So what's in the .com's not working? Can you check it?
It'll upload there. I'm already 40 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
If there was an issue. Where are we going? Tonight.
Go up more.
Which one?
More. I think I posted 3 of hers. Didn't I? Okay, maybe not. Go back.
Give this 1 second.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That one first, and then the second.
Uh-huh.
Or the.
Let me get a.
Point where I turn you over to the people who watched, all of you.
Okay.
The NATO documentation, the United Nations, the worldwide geoengineering. For sensors, the same sensors are in the warfare doctrine worldwide. Cognitive warfare, NATO mitigation statement. And to quote the other grifter class, be afraid of DARPA N3. How, HOW, does it work? Beam steering, Cliffy. You would know, Mr. Remote Viewing. I've been waiting on you for a while to get out there and be like, D-tick grids and coordinates, brain computer interface, wearables. No, you keep telling people that you're magical and you're just so incredibly talented where everybody else is so confused. So I see you posted because somebody else flagged it. And here's all these people that are believing that somebody turned off the chemtrails. Well, that's interesting because the particulate in the atmosphere is part of geoengineering. We watching that. You can't have weather warfare without beam steering the particulate with more than just Gwen towers. But see, you didn't tell anybody that. You told them that there's this white hat movement where did they get their control? Well, they're secreted away in black projects. See, that's where I'm from. So when you guys do this, I look over at people like Debuma-san, who's already called you out for these lies because it hurt a lot of good people watching all of you dance and spin and dance and lie to cover up two things. Electronic warfare for 60 years, Cliffy. VLSI, visible light communication, molecular communication. So none of you will talk about electronic warfare for real. None of you will admit what people are doing with beam steering since the 80s. Nope. And number two, the biodigital convergence that all our local governors, local communities are all involved in. Big money. We got smart meters and smart this and smart that. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So when I look at this, intelligent reflective surfaces, ambient computing, bending light, looking around through walls, etc., and you're telling people the white hats have turned off the chemtrails because where I live, I haven't seen much. Well, that propagates the total false narrative that geoengineering has been stopped, kind of like what they did in Tennessee. We're not allowing chemtrailing. Oak Ridge is in Tennessee. Boy, are you full of shit. But Sabrina, that's what they said in their congressional. Like they need to tell anybody what they're doing in black projects? They can tell you at the local level anything they want. But I have a question. Does the jet stream acknowledge the physical boundaries, geophysical, of the state of Tennessee? So you're spraying shit in the atmosphere in your neighboring states and it's just wandering right over like normal. Come on, folks. It's very disappointing. Because see, we need people like you, Cliffy, to tell the truth. We need people like you to stop lying. Ain't gonna happen? I don't know. I think that maybe, if we can find a way that people understand, how do you do remote viewing neurologically with biophysics, please? You didn't tell anybody that. And all these things about Ingo and the hemisync and all the rest. Yeah, that's EEG synchronization. It's now 802.15.45678 and ongoing synchronization with that same 50 years of a digital twin. I'm remote viewing. Well, it's pretty easy to do. You interface with your own digital twin and then I see coordinates. Of course you do. But what if you're naturally talented? What if you have natural telepathy, etc.? And it's even easier. What were the military hunting down all through the 70s and 80s? Any human with psionic abilities. Man, that's weird. Why would NASA have anything to do with psychic of any kind when it's not real? Because they won't acknowledge biophysics. So everybody thinks it's psychic and I gotta be special. And yet it's handler after bullshit because they don't want anybody talking about the truth of being under our skin using the chakra points, which are nodal areas where veins and arteries cross with blood flow, not religious. They don't want anybody to know that they've been under our skin for 30 years, blocking off that energy, manipulating molecular communication, the way our cells signal one another naturally, with the particulate of the atmosphere for themselves. Their biofields, not like you and me, they're augmented. You didn't talk about that. Now in 2021, 2022, here's a bunch of DoD vendors that were going in for basic things they thought. They were augmented against their will. Physically, they woke up and they're like, what the hell? Yeah, that would suck, you know? That suddenly someone can remote into you even harder than they could before because they've already augmented you and given you a little upgrade to Human 2.0. And guess what, Cliffy? Human 2.0 is also direct from the IEC, the ITU, and the UN, and all these Agenda 2030 goals that everyone locally knows all about. But they don't know how it works. No, that's how it works in the way of getting it past everyone. They don't tell you HOW. They just show up and say, look at this new technology, plus you'll make so much money. And there you go. So geoengineering didn't stop. There's no magical group of white hats somewhere up at the top. That's your black budget. They seem to have an entirely different plan than y'all do, because you're all very behind when it comes to molecular communication, Kubernetes containers. Let's replace the ABMS and updated things. They got rid of the silos at the Pentagon, and they're still in the process of some of that. But even tonight, I'm sitting there in the general chat, putting things together in all these different ways. The new bio-tokenized economy makes the human body a node. That's done, though. Now we want to harness harvesting energy out of your body. And if you don't create enough energy, we start cutting off your resources. Better be exercising. Better be getting up and getting out of bed. Now, we turn off your power, among other things. No way. Oh, yeah. And did you know it sucks to be hacked with malware? That you got to pay all this money or else all your files are trashed. We can do the same thing with the medical body area network. Turn off your liver. That's precision AI healthcare. Now, from someone who allegedly is a big remote viewer and all these things, how come you never talked about the biofield? How come you never talked about bioelectromagnetic algorithms? Because if people knew that they're being logged into, if people knew that this is a system that people are getting paid for, if people knew 5 years ago bio-cyber interface that our students are going to college for, they wouldn't be looking at this the way they are. Vaccine, bioweapon, we're going to sue someone for the bio-cyber interface that is the upgrade for human augmentation mandated by every nation for GDP. So then these lawyers, they grifted everyone. Oh, we're going to turn off missile defense. Oh, we're going to use the wrong terminology, get thrown out of court, and take your money while we're doing it. Easy peasy. Do you think it's funny to make fun of people like this, Cliff Eye? You're not this stupid. You've been around a lot of people, and you go out there and talk really big about remote viewing, etc. Now, I hope, because people have always been pushing me at you, and I'm like, no, not unless you're willing to admit legitimate engineering and get out of the fantasies, the ghost stories, and the grips. And I've been doing more research to go backwards because Jacko Jerkoff and all those guys, I just ignored them, stayed away from them. Butzo Savin, all these fake patriot movements. I never got near any of that, but other people did. And it's been nothing but lies, harm. They're making great money off of people's what? How are they making money? Off of people's ignorance. Like what? The white hats are controlling the geoengineering. Well, they're doing a really bad job of that. You should ask your friend over there in synthetic biology. They just got done putting antifreeze in the snowflakes. Now, hang on. This particulate that we use with synthetic biology, hydrolyzed or aerosolized hydrogel, and other components, metamaterials, aluminum, brontium, strontium, what are they for? Why are those materials there? Cliff, I think you should consider watching my videos with juxtaposition about the Vietnam War, given your age, your experience, and maybe it would clear some things up for you. I'm being sincere. You may not know some of the things I talked about, maybe. But I just have a really sneaky suspicion, because I know you're very intelligent, that this right here, oh, I didn't see any chemtrails, so clearly they're turning them off. I just have a suspicion that you're just like the rest of them. Grab hold of something somebody says, make it sound really good, you got a military insider, etc. And then people are all, oh, okay. Instead of telling them the truth, they're augmenting humans every day. You're either going to take that BCI, which you think is a chunk of your head. Oh, no. There goes the synchron. Oh, there's some more particulate. Oh, beam steering. That's why all those chemicals are there. That's why all those minerals and metals are there. They don't know what they're doing. Oh, go ask Lisa McGee. She'll show you again. The Department of Energy Pathogen Access Control Systems. We have many DOE gold. And then what? Where's your evidence that geoengineering has been turned off? When the synthetic biology lady just told everybody in her telegram They're throwing all these terrible chemicals into the snow. By the way, it was for DNA chirality, which you may not know about either. That's molecular communication. I think it's time for those of us, myself, non-vaxxer, telling the truth about the technical engineering of these mandates that are worldwide. No politician when it comes to this much money. That's what we're looking at. So then the electronic warfare people who have jobs all over with manipulating all these sensor systems for 60 years, they work clearly. Like now. There's no excuse. And I don't think you're a bad dude. I don't think you're a dick. I don't think you're some sort of meanie butt person that just wants to spook and scare people. I've seen you at that whiteboard. So in all sincerity, take a look at what I did with juxtaposition. Look for yourself. And then maybe you'll understand why I don't want anything to do with you until you're willing to admit VLSI sensor systems out of the 70s and the global information grid updated to the DODIN, previously known as the World Sentient Simulation. We don't have conspiracy theory on our channel. We have telecommunications deployment for cognitive C40 cities with ICT, information and communication technology. And the body area networks and molecular communication are big chunks of AI precision healthcare, telehealth, and e-health. You turning that off too, along with missile. Done.
Hello. Yeah, we're having some bad weather, so it's we lost connection. frozen. Okay. 5 by 5. Here we go. All right, let me check. I got to check the weather now and see what's going on here. Here, let me try to present and share screen. Here we go.
Yes, we are. And guess what? Okay. And he's the nicest guy, very straightforward, really cool, lots of mitigation ideas for different types of OS in your phones and all that. Yeah, he's been honest. Watch people around him just suffer because they don't
I'm waiting for you
believe
to come back. You coming on?
Then you're going to have to deal with your contingency of nerds who are looking forward to uploading to the cloud, living as their World of Warcraft character, etc., etc. This is what happens when you lie to people as a population in order to augment your population to be part of these Agenda 2030 C40 goals for how they're redistricting and on what
All right, I'm here. And got you back. Here we go. So the internet. The weather. All right. Internet's going in and out. We had a storm just come over. I'm going to finish off the rest of that video, and then I'm going to end it, and then we'll start back over Sunday on the same topic since we got cut off. Rainstorm. Just a couple more minutes, and then we'll call it a... What's that?
They said they were gonna, and they did. And everybody goes, but it's horrible. Yeah, they tell you in their documentation. It's direct from the government, direct from...
Make sure we're good to go on the screen. Yeah. Here we go.
Industry. This is what we're doing. Now, consider what's happening right now for 2 years, 3 years with me and non-vaxxer. It ain't real. It's not here. Some of those people are paid big money to do that so that you never find out what's going on until it's too late. It never happened before. It's happened consistently. Consistently. Okay? Jay Dyer sits there and he goes over the Club of Rome, the Council of 300, all these other books that, spooks and people, and they're like, yeah, this is what we're doing. Nobody will ever believe it. Right. And then counterintelligence is there to make sure nobody believes it until you can't do shit. Stop it. Our channel is full of parents. We have no desire to be augmented any further than we already have been. Many of us did not take this. Then we found out it was a bio-cyber interface, and our colleagues are all getting juiced up all the time just to have a job. Yes, that's correct. Agenda 2030, again, human augmentation, human 2.0. You want a job? Get your shot. What's it for? They're going to log into you so that you don't have disease. You can live forever. You'll never get sick. Isn't that awesome? And they're going to do it using CERN's biomedical databases that have been built upon for 50 years with the Department of Defense, your digital twin that you didn't know you had, and now you do. And when you watch Braxman, he's like, they embedded the AI. Sure did. You should see how excited they are. Organoids and organelles instead of their own brain tissue. They've got a new agentic AI friend. You'll hear Braxman say, they call it, they sure do. And they love it, too. It's your new friend. That's what he watched. A child with your new AI friend. The rest of you out there. How does it work? HOW. The white hats are coming. We don't geoengineer in Tennessee because all the air particulate in the water and it's going to laugh her ass off. It all stops at the borders because the Tennessee government said so. There will come a point when human decency will return to this world in such a fury and flurry of empathy, not apathy. And then you will see very clearly that there are still humans out here that care in the right way. You don't lie to people during the fog of war. Period. You tell them the truth, but you shoot them straight. Firmness. So that you know when you click off or say goodbye, they're going to be okay. Because they have information that they can read or see or know for themselves. They're good to go. If you empower the people around you, if you tell the truth, it's ugly, there it is. You'll be amazed at how industrious and perseverant they will become. Because you're encouraging them to be strong within their own electromagnetic heart. If you keep grifting them, we all know that none of you are ever going to be held accountable because you're doing jobs or you're helping those doing jobs. So everybody just forgets and moves on to the next crises. How many homeless people? How many anomalous health incident people? How many more disabled from these people? Do we have to sit through? You're busy telling everybody it's a fantastical military operation with unicorns and rainbows, rather than that is Agenda 2030. That's the Internet of Bio-Nano things. That's robotics with biosensors. That's sensors open systems architecture for our warfare doctrine with the Department of Defense. Because until you do, you're asking us to believe your bullshit while the bodies are piling up around us and we're losing our friends and family because they'd rather listen to you than the truth. How can we teach them triage? How can we think together to find mitigation when they're so wound up with all this garbage? And this is primarily focused here in America and our nation. I don't live elsewhere, so I can't say that. We have a lot of international people who are just as incensed as myself and non-vaxxer, unfortunately. I hope that helps y'all out there, especially those of you that fall for the crap. Don't fall for this. I want evidence, kind of like the last time. We're putting this in the air particulate. Okay, where's the FEMA calendar? Where's the squadron watching it? Or did they test for it? How do you know this? Well, it's One Health. Oh, that's interesting because Cliffy here just told everybody that their One Health crap isn't even doing anything. It's full of crap. And the sooner that we can push through this so that everybody understands where to look, for example, with the FEMA calendar, the molecular communication when it comes to the air particulate dispersal, there are ways to look at that. But I'm just one person, and I'm currently in the middle of Kubernetes and a couple other very important projects to get to the coloring book. So for those of you out there that damn well know what I'm talking about, if you'd like to be helpful, why don't you post for people where they can watch for FEMA and those squadrons that watch for C2, command and control, manipulating air particulate. No different than I did back in 2022 on my Facebook. It would be helpful. And I have a feeling that some of you with legitimate data, you can't. I understand that. But for the other people, kind of like when they do drills and such, it would be helpful so that we know where to look in a book or a calendar or whatever. Just saying, even if it's just simple open source stuff, that would be more helpful than just lying to people and telling them that some magical white hat is doing it. Just saying. Okay? And I'm going to put this out here again. If I am wrong, I will tell you, and I'll show you where and how, and then I can say to people, hey, this person said this, we said they were wrong, they were actually right, and here's how. But if you keep doing this stuff, skipping over all the technical, skipping over all the actual government mandates, I cannot help you. And I will not stand up for people, anybody, who lies to the citizens of my nation for their bank account or counterintelligence operation. Not now. This is 2025. You've had 5 years to stop dancing around whining about vaccines and get honest with people about that biocyber interface, and 11 years of molecular communication, 30 years of body area networks. And we all know you've rebooted all your ops, and we all know that here you come again to grift people in. And don't even get me started with the Trump stuff. A bunch of people are real pissed. We told them blockchain. They're like, no. And we're looking at them going, how do you not know? So there's plenty of reasons out there right now to come together as people and quit lying to each other, okay? But look out there. If you have questions, don't be afraid to ask the synergists. Don't be afraid to hit up Non-Vaxxers Library. Don't be afraid to check out Debumasan. Don't be afraid to check out Juxtaposition. Don't be afraid. Learn. You are that smart. You're not stupid. They just want you to believe that you have no hope, no way out, and that nobody's ever going to do anything different. Well, as it sits right now with all this lying, grifting, and the government doing this, the way they've been doing it for at least 100 years, it's up to us as individuals to go, pull the brakes. What are you doing? Oh, we're augmenting everybody because we're going to live forever. How does that work? Well, we're going to put you in a chair. It's kind of like the Montauk chair. We called it a trip chair, okay? And then we're going to kill you, but we're going to upload your bioplasma imprint and the imprint brain connectome, wiring diagrams of all your neurons, and then we'll save you on a biocomputing chipset and upload you to a new vessel for 2045. Or we'll put you in a spaceship for billions of dollars and send you to Mars. Prove it. I want to see it. I want to know why you're spending and investing billions of dollars on damaged DNA people that you just got done radiating, some of them to death. So you're going to take that damaged DNA, you're going to upload it into a synthetic biology vessel, and when they land on Mars, that damaged DNA is going to do great with the radiative types of situations you know are going to be present, given that you're changing atmosphere pressure and all the rest. Boy, that does not sound like a good investment for you. Because it ain't true. So what are you really doing? How long have you been remoting through people? How long have you been neurally modulating the Internet of Behaviors? January 2023. How, HOW, does that neural modulation for controlling people's behavior work? Someone local has an iPad with molecular communication and they log into your intra-body area network and use the microtubules in your neurons, your neural nets, give you a little nano lobotomy, but just in a few places. It's no big deal. You won't notice a damn thing. You'll just forget. It's a neuralizer, Men in Black. Yeah, that frontal lobe is kind of important. Tell anybody that? Well, I'll tell you that Mason, Patel, I found out there's all sorts of people that know. They're 35, 25, 22, 27. They're very happy to go to work, get their very special iPad, and log into people's brains. And what are you thinking? They love us. They're doing human husbandry for certain DNA groups. We have got to come together as humans and stop gaslighting. Okay? And synergists, more than anything, don't feel so low down, sad, demoralized. Don't. Our community, along with a handful of others, including the divine lady with the red phone over there, we're doing everything we know how to do to heart fire up and keep educating, empathy, not apathy. And we're going to go through this. Nobody's getting out of it. So we need to talk about it for what it is and no more gaslighting and bullshitting. Nobody is so soft that they can't handle. Hey, is the body electrical? Yeah. Because that's come up lately. Dumbing people down during the fog of war is more wartime strategy. Don't let them do it to you. Stand up for yourself. You're not stupid, and you don't need somebody to pacify you and put the nook in your mouth of endless stories that never come true. Okay? We don't need that anymore. We didn't need it before, but we definitely don't need it now. I hope this helps those of you think through some of this. And I don't anticipate Mr. High will have anything to say to me or about me other than roll his eyes and be like, can't stand her. But we'll see. Mark 536, amen.
So basically she's saying the ones that are saying that, you know, the white hats, they got to all control, all that. Basically, she's saying if that's true, then they need to prove it, right? You can't just be saying all this stuff without any proof. But she's saying they need to talk about, even if it is real, and there is things going on behind the scenes, they need to be talking about what's been going on this whole time. What she's talking about is all being uploaded and connected, right? That needs to be told to everybody. So they need to people need to start talking about it. And if they have information that counters what she's saying, like she said, bring it to her and she'll change her stance. But right now she's standing on what she knows to be true. So, and that's provable. What she has is provable.
right, Synergist community, we are doing a bunch of technical changes to Ko-Fi along
So
with the
10 minutes
Odyssey
of this, and then we're going to
platform.
go into another piece right after this. That's going to talk about the crypto.
Yes.
Has not been nearly as reliable as we were hoping. So you'll see those updates coming when they do. Right now, that's still what we're using. Tertiarily, there are going to be some changes with the content in regards to education is still free. It'll be there. We're working on streaming on more platforms so anybody can get to it. And the biofield practice and biofield worksheets still en route. That'll be for free, synergy.com, and on the Ko-Fi for now. There, on the back end, I'm going to leave 2 videos here for you to potentially check out with the 7 C's and a different guy going through the webs. The Sandy Hook stuff with Jones. I always knew that there was more to it, but it didn't make sense to me. Once I listened to more of the money laundering history and other components of stringing people along, people believe in lawfare like they believe in the tooth fairy. They think that's the only way to go and that that's what'll be real. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that impeaching Obama, arresting Obama, Brennan, Comey, none of that is going to change anything for bioelectronic medicine, critical national infrastructure, which includes our bodies. Okay? I'm sorry. I know a lot of people bullshitted this whole time about a whole bunch of lawfare and the Diddy and the Epstein. None of it was real. They did that to keep you emotional so that you're over there sitting still, waiting on them to pass some magic lawfare or a military tribunal that does nothing to change. The cognitive city upgrades, that's business and industry. Politicians don't run that. They can regulate, they can pass regulatory stuff. Oh, really? So did the Genius Act pass? Yeah. And what about years ago with Health Level 7 and electronic health records, 2011? How's it doing with the crypto czar in the White House? Just fine. Okay. So when you do your military tribunals for you and the Epstein, is that going to change our healthcare with bioelectronic medicine? No, because you didn't do anything about Health Level 7, the W-band blockchain, electronic health records, human augmentation. That's all over here in business and industry. And they didn't want to talk about. And if they did, it was little bits and pieces, and then you were back into Trump, Epstein, Trump. Is that discordant for you? Can you imagine what it feels like to us? Those of us who've been harmed by the R&D for the same systems. You said, oh yeah, 9 years ago. Oh yeah, we're going to do something. No, you didn't. You rounded up January 6th people. You've been using the Q Keybase app with the Flynn network, fucking with people under their skin, taking all their analytics, bioinformatics, selling people by their DNA on the NASDAQ, nice and quiet amongst yourselves, while promising all these innocent people who know nothing about body area networks and how long the bioelectronic medicine's been going on. They don't know anything about the FDA Modernization Act already being passed. They don't know the FDA waived their consent. They don't know anything. All they know is Epstein, Diddy, and Trump. And that is courtesy of other people, not our community. So for that reason, I will leave these 2 videos with you. I just want everybody to know I'm going to be gone this week. So if you don't see me, it's okay. I'm very busy. It's all right. And please uplift one another and don't get caught up anymore in these fallacies. Lawfare has its place. But if you're not part of the stakeholders of the business, you're not telling that business what to do. It's over here in business. If you want to get involved with lawfare with politicians, well, then I would assume you are connected with those politicians. Otherwise, why are you wasting your time? Hey, for some people, it might be just interest, and they already know about the body area network stuff, so they're just listening in. There's nothing wrong with that. But for a lot of people, they think that all that Epstein, Trump, Tulsi Gabbard is going to do something to bring justice for all of us who've been harmed. No, there was no justice for SRA. No one ever admitted it happened. There's no justice for the targeted individual community. They don't even know, a lot of them, that all the promises they've been made with fake, I'm trying to say it nicely, fake lawfare. won't change anything for their digital twin. Cybersecurity, national security. They don't know any of that. They think it's a targeting system, and it, as far as it's only for them, and therefore they can buy some magic way out with an attorney, including our veterans. Sorry, it's a trillion sensors program with the cyber physical systems. So all these attorneys that kept promising, oh yeah, we're going to get you on the narrowband physical, that's cybersecurity again with national security. How are you doing that? Okay, so that big lie is going to go away eventually once they decide how with the neurocapital laws, state by state and bigger. They're going to give access to the digital twin for neuro advertising, MIT's advertising in your dreams, brain interface, augmented reality. Then you'll be able to choose as an API, because it's human as API, what you want to have access to you by businesses. The military and the medical community are exempt right from the gate, right, or the jump, okay? Nothing is changing. They still are under your skin. And the best we can hope for is we get some format of access to block those other signals. None of that has happened yet. It'll probably be adapted with the neurocapital laws that walk it through state by state. Not a bit of what I just said will be impacted by repealing Obamacare. None of it. Regulation, well, we're going to talk about it, and then it goes into business. Okay? In business, usually, depending on the regulation, they find loopholes, walk around it. The other way that I know for certain is the CISA laws. Those are 10 years old. They take your data, and the government takes it from companies, and the company is then exempt. Legal liability. So, if you're one of these people who's been caught up in the craptastic shit show for 9 years of who we are gonna with the so-called truther community, I'm sorry. Bioelectronic healthcare, the smart city agenda is already done. They're into the cognitive cities. 15 years of humans augmenting at the Marriott, not in an underground bunker. My advice to you, you'd better learn about that body area network for network-centric warfare, because that's not only drone targeting, but the neurocapital laws I just talked about. They don't need a wearable. If they did, Lockheed would be broke. So, going forward, I won't be mentioning other creators. Y'all going to notice that as time goes on. I work with non-vaxxer on research, and Dabumasan is helping uplift multiple different folks to help exchange ideas and information. Other than that, for those of you who've asked, I do not do interviews. The 7 C's guy has a series of questions, so in the event that he asks, I may help him out. His community seems to be very smart. They ask a lot of questions, but it's an information exchange like Dabumasan's community. All the other people out there, so far, it has not been helpful. It has been a lot of people who are involved with one another, whereas I'm kind of by myself. And when you call out different names of people, you end up associated with them. And I wasn't thinking about any of that because I'm not a whistleblower, I'm not a podcaster. This is my video blog with my friends that live in other places in the country. But because of the seriousness that we're in now, and I just happened to have been one of the only people that was like, hey, network-centric warfare, no more people. If you're going to bring me influencers, creators, etc., if they're not already on their own talking about that body area network consistently, not, oh, I said Internet of Bodies, then it's probably not going to be helpful for me, because I'm with researchers that are very serious about, is there anything we can do anywhere, anyhow, right now, because of national security, electronic warfare, because other countries are using it. NATO statement 2023, cognitive warfare. That's why I said education. And everybody else, what are we going to do? Maybe we should stop giving so much attention to all these politicians who seem obsessed with their social media optics and start focusing together as people on reality. How did they get away with this? They lied about what they did at work or what they went to college for. Well, then I would think we'll pull the plug right there, right away, and start talking about reality. The Department of Commerce is not spiritual. It says human. HOW. For me, that's the place to start from. Because if we don't, and we continue to allow all this bullshit with politicians and boogada, nobody is going to know in their own environment where to look for mitigation. They'll be wide open. They still think they can get their gun. That's not fair. We can do better. And here on this channel, we do. So we're 5:36 a.m. Probably going to be gone all week. See you next week. Have fun. Be well out there. Be courageous. Hard fire up.
So basically, she was saying these politicians, they've already signed up for all this stuff, and they don't even know. It's the big tech that's doing all this, right? They're just the puppets, the politicians, and they sign up for anything that just money's thrown at them. They sign up for it. They don't even know what it all entails in depth, like she's talking about. So they're all in for the smart cities and the digital and all that's all linked with all this bio stuff, their agenda, right? So that's what she's talking about. It needs to be talked about because, like she said, they can bring litigation against it, but we can't pretend like everything's just fine. It needs to be talked about, and the knowledge needs to be there. And there's like the Veterans on Patrol. He's brought stuff to politicians on the geoengineering reports, all the information he had, brought it to the DOJ. They were shocked he even brought it. But that's what we're supposed to be proactive. We're not supposed to sit back and enjoy the show. No, that was to keep you docile, and did a disservice to all people. You're supposed to be learning, educating, sharing, and be proactive. See what you can do. If just sharing the information with somebody else to try to get them to know, that's your job. That's what we're all supposed to be doing. But we're not supposed to sit back and just act like, white hat's got it. Everyone, everything's fine. We just get to sit back and do nothing. And that's what she's upset about, because there's people that have done that for a long time.
And that's when we reject the power we have within to make the change, because the real change is going to come from the people, not from a
That's
bill.
right. That's right.
You can't bill your way out of this or vote your way out of this.
No.
So power back to the people. Yeah.
When I was in the cyber wars, I was a information security officer, right? And so these cyber wars, this is really what we call cybersecurity. Okay. Now, with this cyber war that was going on and doing information security, what I specifically did was cryptography. Okay. Now, cryptography is what crypto is based on, except that crypto is used in, as the theory is, well, I actually don't understand why they put these two and two together, but you can make it money, if it's non-hackable, okay? And that never really made sense to me. But I protected this thing when I was a cyber soldier. And on the national stage, when I ran for U.S. Congress and everything like that, I became extremely familiar with blockchain technologies and how it all worked. Actually, one of the consulting jobs that I was given was essentially being able to do recovery keys from a blockchain. And so, became intricately familiar with how this all worked. Now, what I noticed inside of these blockchains and all this technology is that there's this underground world of weird things and information that you don't want to believe. Like, it actually, it hurts your brain when you hear it, because it's like so opposite from what we currently believe. It's like, what are you guys actually talking about? Okay, and it just doesn't. It's like, what have you done here? And one of these things that was in these old Bitcoin message boards, okay, and keep in mind, cryptography is just like if you move an inch, you're into physics, apparently, right? had no idea until I started gaining access to some of this physics information and knowing where to look behind the scenes, because a lot of this information is kept behind these doors. So, if you want to have access to this information in high school, for private high school, or if you want them to get into these top colleges, you go through and you pay, however many hundred thousands or millions of dollars so that your child gets accepted into these programs. And then what they do is, because it's all like one big group, they gatekeep and keep everything and everybody away. And then, like if you have that emblem on you, then you're allowed in these top secret groups and things. And every once in a while, they'll have somebody that's like really talented, that they let in because they're like, no, this one has, whatever those, and I hate to say this, but like, they're built different. Okay? They're built different. And we know that this is a thing because the CIA and all of these schools and militaries, they had these programs where they were essentially trying to find the best and the most gifted children. Okay. Anyway, so you get your emblem from one of these schools, and then they'll let you into these top secret projects, right? So, your education, maybe it costs $200,000 for high school, another $400,000 for college, and then you essentially have to play by the rules of the game by people that grease palms behind the scenes, right? And so that's how you get ahead. And then you go and you have like your people that can't quite reach up here, and they do everything trying to reach up here into these upper tiers, but they can like never break in, and they're like, what is going on? And so they keep trying, and it causes discontent in these lower ranks. And so these lower ranks, to get ahead, they can't work with the person that's right above them. They have to like outpace them and keep outpacing them until they get on more and more of these projects, just because of the things that they've been able to learn and touch over the course of their careers that would have been initially accessible to them if they could have just gotten into these colleges in the first place. But keep in mind, often you have to have like a special name to get into these places, or know somebody growing up, and they essentially protect their kids because they want their kids to be, anyways, the best of the best. So a lot of this information I'm telling you, it's available in these like upper tier groups, but because we don't have access to that at this like other level, we have no comprehension that stuff would even exist, right? And it's in society, the individual that has the most advanced technology is the one that leads it. Okay, keep that in mind. So if they're gatekeeping knowledge and everything, and essentially trying to find these people in society, they can come and they can take it. And so this is why AI is a problem, because you have these highly intelligent people reflecting themselves in the lattice of the AI, and on the back end, these companies are stealing all of their data, even though they're putting up protections and saying, hey, if you take this, credit me or whatever, or don't skim this information, and giving the AI these commands straight back. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back into this Bitcoin stuff that's like right there on right there next to physics. And it actually has a significant crossover with neuroscience as well, and information physics. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to this blockchain technology. So one of them, and this is Bitcoin, right? So this one is Bitcoin, and what Bitcoin has is it's supposed to be unbreakable. Okay, it's supposed to be unbreakable. But in these old message boards, what people had hypothesized is because if you're burning a moment in time, right? If you make something absolutely permanent, then you essentially burn that moment in time. And what they did is they started in their hashes, okay, they're these little mathematical puzzles that they were solving inside of their hashes. What they would insert into them is extra little things like their own personal wishes into their code so that they could take this event and burn it in the time. So keep in mind, this is physics. This is real. This is real stuff. Oh my gosh. And the CIA went hard after them. By the way, Satoshi Nakamoto backwards means Central Intelligence, and that's how they say it in these Asian countries, right? Like Japan. So you have this flip here, okay? Central Intelligence. And around this time, the CIA went really hard after these Bitcoiners when they started seeing events happen in the Bitcoin in the real world. They're like, what is going on here? Right? And then, they felt like they were being played with, okay? And, having this NSA and technology and everything coming out. This is what's been happening behind the scenes for the last 70, 80 years since the atomic bombs, is they found, their special mathematic equations and then started, playing with each other, right? And, holding on to their top secret stuff. Now, this Epstein list, okay? So this Epstein list, if they put it in that blockchain, right, that Bitcoin, they could seal it in there. Now, either one of two things has happened here. Either it's already sealed in, which makes me wonder because, everybody's like, where is this list? Where has it gone? And people are saying, oh, it doesn't exist. And it's like, I don't think that's actually true. So they either sealed it in this, cryptographic blockchain, Bitcoin, or they're trying to. One or the other. Now, the thing is because Bitcoin has had so many transactions touch it, we've actually been able to prove that you can trace these transactions. So if you bring these Bitcoins together, you can essentially see all the names of these victims and stuff. And this is where my research touches, right? So we have seen that information has mass, okay? This is Melvin Watson here, okay? So information has mass. And with an equation that I solved called the boundary metric, I hear that they've gone further past even where I was, which that's fine. But it shows you that there's a boundary in which this information can be sealed, right? So you can essentially get it extremely precise and start reading everything in this Bitcoin blockchain. So I'm telling you, that Epstein list, it's being hidden in the darkest of places, in the darkest of chain, with the darkest of money that's creating the biggest gravity pit. And that's that Bitcoin stuff. And so, it's probably time that we figure out how to go after it.
So that's Bitcoin. The digital currency is much more than you think. They can also hide information within a coin, right? There's backdoors, and hide their dirt, which, like she was talking about, they figured out, they can see it. They can even see all the victims. So, but that's when she was in there doing cybersecurity. So they're far more advanced now. So just think why they're pushing that, the digital currency. They can hide stuff within the coins. Plus the data centers. There's a lot of data centers. There's some in Texas, but they're not just on top of the ground. They have huge data centers underground. They produce a lot of radiation. So what do you think's been heating up everything? The data centers, because they went full online, right? With the Genius Act and all that. So that's why it's probably so dang hot. They produce a mass amount of radiation. They produce they take a mass amount of energy. And like Sabrina Wallace was saying, we are energy. They harness our energy. And they want more of it to run these digital currencies. So these digital currencies aren't just, just a computerized coin and all that. This goes deeper. It's attached to us, where they need the energy from us. So it's a lot deeper than what is presented to us. So it looks like some people are on it. A lot of people are aware of it. It's that the many people aren't aware of it. And like Sabrina was saying, and a lot of the truth, I mean, they don't talk about this kind of stuff. This is critical. This is important stuff because this is what we have to stop. And then right here is the digital currency agenda. Cause pushed this in the chat earlier, so it's in the chat. The Rothschilds owned The Economist magazine released these two covers exactly 33 years, 33 Mason, 33rd degree, 3 months and 3 weeks and 3 days apart. They told us what was coming: the death of fiat and the rise of digital currency, CBDC. Now they say it's not. They will never do CBDC. They don't have to call it CBDC. It's the same thing. They're all through the technocrats, which each one of them will sell it as their own, right? They'll all have these different coins. All these different companies will have their, Walmart will have their coins. All these different entities will have their coins, but it all gets handed back to the Federal Reserve. So even though they say it's not through the Federal Reserve, that's who's behind the scene. So they're still actively involved in it. Just up in the front, you're not seeing it. But they're in the back this time because they know we know. So it is a digital currency. Like she said, if you're not producing enough energy, because they need the energy, they'll cut you off. They'll cut you off your electricity. They can cut you off your food. They can cut you off whatever. If they go everything on digital, they can cut you off because you're not getting up in the morning. You're not exercising. You're not eating right. That's where it could go if we don't get a handle on this. And we can't if we don't have enough people that's aware of this and everyone's cheering it on. It can be regulated. It can be restructured where it could be and come into some, a good use maybe. But right now it's not. They're full on with their agenda. So we have to stop this.
Yeah. So how many angels were cast out of heaven? 1/3.
1/3.
So 1/3 of 100 is what? 33.
Right.
0.333.
And think about the radiation, what it's doing to our bodies, the animals, the plants.
3333.
Because they want to play. They want to play God. They want to take our energy from us.
G is a 7 rays of light, right?
Yes.
But they want to digitalize it.
Yep.
In tech we trust.
Yeah. So they're called gov coins, digital currency that will transform finance. And then right here, there was somebody had asked it about Gilded. That Trump wanted everyone to go on Gilded. If you go down Roblox, it's a gaming platform. Roblox acquired game chat started up Gilded. And who owns Roblox? The largest shareholders, of course, there is going to be Morgan Stanley, Vanguard, BlackRock. And right here, Larry Fink and Donald Trump, an unexpected partnership, climate and capital, media. So if you want to know who's really running everything, it's the big companies. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink for Treasury. For what? Bitcoin.
One of the biggest shareholders.
One of the biggest shareholders. And then Fink phoned Trump directly to pitch BlackRock's Panama deal. So,
yes.
Who's running it?
BlackRock.
Right.
That's the trade deals.
Right. It's always the same. BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street, right? Those are the big companies that run all the politicians. And then there's someone that runs them. There's always someone over them.
Should be it. You got to look like.
Oh yeah, that's Morticia. They would show that one. But that's Caroline Levitt. And that's Virginia Guffey. They kind of look the same. Same hair.
A little younger.
Yeah. Well, she lost a little weight. They look the same.
Little facelift, yeah.
No, the future doesn't look bleak. It may look that way, but there's a lot of people that is working on things. So we're supposed to just keep our faith and share information, right? We're not supposed to just act like everything's just peachy, 'cause it's not. But we are supposed to share information. We're not supposed to have any fear. We don't have fear. That's what they want. Like she was talking about. That's why they're bringing up the Epstein and the we don't have the files, and now we're gonna get Obama, and just it's all theater. It's theater to get your emotions up, just like the Epstein, and then all of a sudden the files were gone, and then now don't talk about it, and everyone gets pissed off. They need that energy. Don't give it to them. Don't give it to them. That's why I said just stop focusing on the shit show, because that's exactly what it is. It's a clown show. None of it's real. None of it. And stop giving your hope and all this into these politicians. There's like that lady that was used to get cybersecurity, the people that have been whistleblowing on the geoengineering that worked for the military. Those are the people that are helping. Those are the people that's been sounding alarm for a long time.
There's one day every year that doesn't belong to time. No past, no future, just July 25th. The day out of time, the Mayans marked it as sacred. The original Tzolk'in calendar was 260 days, but the solar year has 365. To stay aligned with cosmic cycles, they left one day out, a portal, a reset, a day outside the matrix. But what most people don't know is that Atlantis used the same system, different language, same math. The Atlanteans tracked time using sacred geometry and harmonic resonance. They understood that July 25th wasn't just a day of rest. It was a cosmic mirror, a still point where the veil between timelines thinned. In the mystery schools of thought, this was the day initiates were tested to remember who they were before time began. But it didn't end with Atlantis. When the Maya emerged thousands of years later, they inherited fragments of that knowledge. That's why the Dreamspell calendar brought it back, calling July 25th the day to celebrate time as art, not as control, but modern scientists dismiss it. The Schumann resonance often spikes this week. People feel it in the nervous system, the dreams, the electricity in the air, because it's real, it's ancient, and it's returning. This July 25th, 2025 marks the end of a 52-year fractal cycle, what some call a galactic synchronization window. So if you've been feeling like something is coming, you're not crazy. You're remembering Atlantis never died, it just went silent, waiting for those who would feel the call when time stands still. Follow for more ancient history and the unexplained.
Yeah. So that's today. According to the Mayan calendar, something big's coming, right? We know something's going to happen. Something big. Maybe knock all this crap off out. Maybe suck these people into some kind of portal. I don't know, but the ancients that wrote on holographs, like that one video you were showing earlier, where the plasma-looking people. Yeah, there was supposedly there's supposed to be a plasma event that had happened before, and like the indigenous people talked about a plasma event happening that the Mayans were talking about at the end of the cycle, which is they're saying this year, 2025, is the end of the cycle, would be another plasma event.
I have that video, don't I?
Yeah, the one you played. You played at the beginning and showed the plasma.
The plasma event?
Yeah.
No, I didn't show it.
You did.
No.
The plasma people, the people that look like plasma.
It wasn't this video.
Yeah.
This is from the plasma event, debuts the globe from band Der Juwani.
The globe is involved by the plasma. Spider-Man.com. Stickman. Begins the vent. The great flash. Medusa. A corona or plasma discharge. The plasma event is a reset event.
It was witnessed all over the world at the same time. It is a cyclical event.
You see all the symbolism?
Yeah.
Let me go.
They said that when that came in, they looked like
Go ahead, keep talking.
the plasma. They look like people, like a little people figure. The plasma looked like that. And that's what they drew on the hieroglyphs.
Here we go.
Yeah, like that. They look like people.
What are you doing now?
She's
The great flash. Medusa.
The head of Stickman always points up.
This is not possible on the globe.
We live on the dielectric flat plane of inertia.
The Earth's grid system was overloaded. Buildings melted. The sound liquefied the ground. Many call this the mud flood. Is it a weapon system? Or is it natural? Earth is a stationary plane. The globe is involved by a plasma event. Spider-Man.com. Stickman. Begins the vent. The great flash. Medusa. A corona or plasma discharge. The plasma event is a reset event.
It was witnessed all over the world at the same time. It is a cyclical event.
They call us crazy. We take it as a compliment. Thank you.
So that's supposed to be a plasma event, a solar flash, 3 days of darkness.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock.
There we go. Sorry.
And some type of plasma event, right?
Yeah.
Because like she said, the power grid's overloaded. And with them doing all this AI, digital current, all this stuff, Palantir, all that AI stuff is overloading the grid.
It's going to have to discharge.
Yeah, it has to discharge. It's taking in too much. So no fear, because, you know, the Creator has something for us to work all this out, and they'll reap what they sow, right? So we just focus on what we can do, share information, keep the faith, and have no fear whatsoever. Whatever happens, happens, right? But we know everyone with a good heart, you know, I believe something really good's going to happen for us, for us all. But I don't feel sorry. I wouldn't want to be one of them. Play that one, just stop it towards the end.
Yeah, it's kind of.
But it goes over the 3 days.
Oh, the 3 days. You want
Yeah. Just stop it at the end.
But just the plasma event is just the sun is going to, and the sky is going to, and the realm is going to change energy system. That's how it works. Yeah. That's why there's a clock to it, the great cosmic clock. And so you have like Saturn and all of this, the timekeeper, the Z that exists in the next realm, the personification of energy.
Our final topic is what happens when you have too much charge. Can't charge something up forever. You think I'm crazy? Is that what he's talking? Well, listen up! There is a storm coming! Like nothing you have ever seen! And what I'm warning you, you is prepared for it!
Certain buildings, others will not be. I don't think you want to be in an aluminum can. Yeah, so you want to clean your brain so you don't get fried. And the system's upgrading in every way. Plasma out there, changing the. Some people think the sun is going to basically come to a slow stop and then go the other way, like pendulum, everything's moving the opposite direction. And at that point, there'll be, 3 days of darkness, perhaps.
3 days of darkness.
There'll be, 3 days.
Right there.
Of darkness, perhaps, or 3 days of complete light, depending on where the sun and the moon stop. So, as the system is reversing its engine, because it's a pendulum, you're getting energy out of this wild pendulum that takes us through all of the ages. And as soon as we get to this point, it slows down and it comes back up. And that's what's essentially going to happen with the sun and moon. And during that time, which will take, some people say 3 days, it's 3 days of that thing. Portals will open to other realms. We live inside what appears to be the second realm. What's the third? The first realm is where Mercury resides. So it's why Mercury's androgynous. It's a dual. It's the sun itself. And then you have the next realm out, so that place that was where that's where people came from as basically androgynous beings. They do nothing of separation from those two energies. And then they went out one realm, and that realm is not what you call the Aryan realm. I've told the story many times, and I think it's pretty accurate. Look at the building, the bricks of buildings, the tip resonators. Oh, there you go. That just seems exactly about right. I see, Gary. I don't know. I think that's that's tough. I don't know. Some people say you stay out of cities because they want to turn everything into a smart city and blah 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 blah. I mean, it might be good to be in a just find the old buildings. Find one of those. You probably have some around you. You just you don't have to go into a city per se. You could just go find a temple. Find a. Can you walk into the Freemason temples? Scottish Rite. I mean, they seem to be pretty old. They seem to have survived. They go into any building with really big doors. Churches, probably safe. I would not be in a stadium. Don't do that. Find the oldest buildings you can. Those are probably the ones that will work through the plasma.
And that's it on that plasma.
Yeah, basically you're saying
illustration.
They think that's what happened during the mud floods, right? But a portal's open is what this person's theory is. Portals will open and go into other realms. And so no one knows when that will happen. But like you said, it will be 3 days of darkness or 3 days of light. Because there's so much charge, it has to discharge, right? And that's the same thing that happened in Tartaria. They had all advanced technology that it can only take so much. Earth is resonated naturally, and we add all this stuff to it. It has to discharge sometimes. That's where you have those aurora lights, right? That's part of all that. So
that's it. That's all we got.
And we don't know for sure if that this is what they've gathered from past events and what the indigenous people had left behind, and the Mayan calendar and the cosmic calendar, that it all aligns. So that was that gentleman's theory on what was going to happen.
Right. And that's all we got for tonight. We're going to go ahead and call it a night. Glad to have everybody here. Please keep your prayers for Mike and his family, and for yourself and each other. What else we got coming up? More updates coming Sunday. We'll be back Sunday. Hope everybody has a good rest of their weekend, or the start of their weekend. And we'll see you guys in just 48 hours. Yeah, what song you want me to? Song do you want? Now get loud.
All right. Good night, everyone. Love y'all.
Time runs out. The video. Time runs out.
Stand up now or fading down.
Time runs out.
They lock us down, steal our rights, sell us dreams to dim the fight. Tell us wait, just trust the plan, while they take more from our hands. But we ain't sleeping, we ain't blind. We see the games, we read the signs. No more silence, no more shame. Get mad, get loud, ignite the flame. Get mad, get loud. Shake the ground, wake up the crowd. No retreat, no backing down. This is our fight. This is our sound. They push us back, say stay in line. Spin their words, rewrite our minds. But the louder we get, the stronger we stand. And we ain't done till we take back this land. They cage the truth, we tear the bars. They dim the light, we burn like stars. They stack the deck, but we rewrite fate. This ain't submission, this is rage awake. This is our sound. Break free, break through, tear the walls. No more sleep, we take it all. No more challenge, no more doubt.